What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Birds of the Round Table, episode like 6 or 7. Who the hell knows? But today, we are having a great time. We are counting down our top 5 bold predictions for the Philadelphia Eagles 2022 season. Joining me, I think, in the back-to-back episodes, Ryan F. What's going on, Ryan?
Nothing much, man. I'm happy to be here, dude. I just got to say a shout out to you, man. You bring the energy every time. I know you're on tons of shows, but you're still bringing it. Shout out to you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate the hell out of that. And then we've got Ryan, my man from Philly Sports Alliance. You do a ton of stuff, man. What's going on, Ryan?
Not much, man. I was going to say I certainly do a lot, man, but you put me to shame. Yeah, man, honestly, this is I'm glad we've been doing this. I think this is episode number 6, if I can recall. But yeah, it's tons of fun, and I can't wait to keep doing this up and, to the start of the season and all the way through the end. So, it's good birds.
All right, we've got an amazing guest joining us here tonight, Brenden Deeg of the Double Doink podcast. He's a writer for the National Football Post. What's going on, Brenden? Thanks for joining, man.
No worries, man. Thanks for having me on. We're in the dog days of the summer. We got about a month till camp, so it's bold prediction time, baby.
Let's jump right in, man. Deeg, lead us off. What is your number 5 bold prediction for the Eagles?
Okay, so first one is going to be an award one because I actually was peeking around on FanDuel today, kind of looking at some odds for the season, and what caught my eye is Defensive Rookie of the Year, and I'm going to kick it off with one is Nakobe Dean wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. He is actually slated, guys, at plus 1,400. That is the 10th best odds out of any defensive rookie so far in the league. And Jordan Davis is actually 9th. So you got both of them are at 14, or I think they're tied for a plus 1,400. So yeah, 9th and 10th tied there combined. And get this, there were 41 defensive players taken ahead of Nakobe Dean. So having the 10th best odds and yet 31 other players taken in front of you, I thought was very intriguing. That means sports books are expecting him to kind of play right at the gate, play right away. I do think he wins the starting linebacker role out of training camp as long as he's healthy. There's no reason why he shouldn't. I just found that was pretty interesting. At plus 1,400, like that is just under bold, I'd say, if you're kind of making like a bet for the season. So that kicks me off with number 5.
All right. I have a feeling we're going to hear that name more than once tonight. I'm going to throw it to you, Ryan R. What is your number 5?
So I didn't necessarily kind of do it in any particular order. So mine are just kind of, I just threw 5 kind of together. So I'll just pick one out, and I will say Jalen Hurts finishes in the top 3 MVP votes.
Wow.
That's bold.
That is bold. I think there's been a lot of controversy, a lot of hate thrown Mr. Hurts's way, and to be perfectly honest, I think he steps up in a major way. He has a season and a quarter under his belt. He's had a full off season. We're kind of outside that COVID restriction, and he's having his first full real off season. He has his best friend with him now. He also has a second-year player in Devontae Smith who's only getting better. And clearly they are going to be passing the ball this year. They didn't get Brown just to run the ball, 90% of the time. So I think he's going to put up good numbers. He is pretty smart as far as turnovers go. So I think he's going to have a pretty good touchdown to interception ratio. And then add, all of what he can do on the ground. I think he gets at least 40-plus total touchdowns. And I think he comes close to that, if not exceeds that 4,000 yards passing. I think he doesn't win it, but I think he's in the running.
That is bold. That is definitely bold. I love the way this is starting out. We've got a Rookie of the Year award and then an MVP award thrown out there. What about you, Ryan F? What's your number 5?
My number 5 is going to focus on the secondary. And I think that in what we've done in the offseason, how we've drafted, everything like that, I think that the Eagles are going to finish in the top 3 secondaries throughout the league. I know that's kind of broad. You know what? I'll just go with the best secondary if I'm going to be bold. So I'll go the best secondary in the league this year. With Slay, with our new acquisition of Bradbury, and then we'll see how the safety kind of filters down. But I think that they will be the best secondary in the league come the end of the season.
Love it. All right, I'll go number 5 real quick. For me, I'm just kind of echoing exactly what Brenden was. We have the same wavelength here because my number 5 is Nakobe Dean has one of the best linebacking seasons we have seen from the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm saying he notches 150 tackles in 2022. For reference purposes, Seth Joyner has never had more than 136 combined tackles. Jeremiah Trotter, 123 is the most he's had. Michael Kendricks, 106. Nigel Bradham, 104. Alex Singleton had 137 combined tackles last year, who, don't get me wrong, is an underrated player. And Kaiser White actually had 144 for the Chargers. So for me, I'm looking at 150 tackles for Nakobe Dean in 2022, which would rank him around 7th in the NFL last year. I see this guy playing a ton middle and weak side linebacker this year. This guy has insane intangibles. The Eagles haven't had a linebacker like Nakobe Dean that can cover as much ground as this dude. And I expect Jonathan Gannon to get much more creative schematically this season. And I think we'll see more blitzing from the linebacking group. And I think that's going to do wonders and mesh so well for Nakobe Dean this season. Nakobe Dean is so good at dictating pace and flushing out screens and quickly getting into the backfield. And I got Nakobe Dean with 150 tackles, and he's going to be beloved for the foreseeable future in Philadelphia.
I think his ball production will be like if he has a great year, it'd be like fumbles, like fumble recovery, stuff like that. That will be like the game-changing aspect of him, if that makes sense.
Love it. And if he's getting 150 tackles, it's pretty high chance he gets Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
In the NFC. What about you, Brett? Oh, we have a comment. Quentin says Rieger will have 6 touchdowns. That is as bold as it gets.
Yeah,
that is as
convenience up in here.
All right, Brenden, what is your number 4?
Okay, so I don't know if it's very bold, but this is one that I just do like, and I just wanted to kind of get it out there. I think Josh Sweat leads the team in sacks this year. So he had 6 in the last 10 games last season. He kind of got off to a slower start, picked it up as the season went on. I think he looked more comfortable. He got better in the system. He kind of had a more role as the season went on. And I think everyone last year was saying this was the big year for Sweat. I think we might have been maybe a year too early. I think it's definitely this year. We'll kind of have this coming out party. You have on the other side now, you have like Jordan Davis in the middle. Of course, Fletcher Cox is coming back, Hassan Reddick. So I think that just the D-line is more better this year for him to kind of a bigger season. And I think he gets double digits. I think he'll probably lead the team with about 10, 11, 12 sacks in that range. I know they're not very bold, but
I mean, when was the last time the Eagles had a 10-plus edge rusher?
Cox in like 2015 or something, maybe? Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's absolutely been a while. Quinn says, go bold or go home. I love it. Damn, Quinn, that's a bold line. For what team? That's the correct answer. What about you, Ryan R?
Philadelphia Stars.
Ryan R, what's your number 4?
Me. That's me. No, I'm up. I predict that Dallas Goddard will have over 1,000 yards and over 10 or more touchdowns.
Wow.
Goddard is having what I like to call his Zach Ertz year. And this is exactly the point in Zach Ertz's career where he took that step to become a top tight end in the league. And this is exactly what Dallas Goddard is going to do. He is going to solidify himself as a top target, as a top tight end. And while the focus certainly is going to be on A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, I think that Dallas Goddard becomes the kind of go-to receiver for Hurts and will help to propel both of them to a higher plateau.
Over 1,000 yards and 10+ touchdowns for Dallas Goddard. Love it, man. What about you, Ryan F? What's your number 4?
All right, my number 4 is kind of echoing off of Brenden, and I'm going to say that the Eagles will break their franchise single-season sack record. I think that, what we had last year with, Sweat and Barnett and Cox and Hargrave, it was solid. With the additions of Reddick and Dean and Davis and White, it's just one of those things where you're only making this defense more formidable, and I really can see them upping that sack total. I mean, they had, I think it was 28 or 29 sacks all last year, and the record's 62. So the bold statement is that they will not only double what they did last year, but eclipse that and just keep on going. I mean, it's a scary looking defensive line.
I love the take, but you do realize that. And am I reading this right, Brendan? They had 104 sacks in 1986.
A little before my time, but maybe a little before my time.
No, pretty sure that the record was set in 89 at 62.
Okay.
It seems low, doesn't it?
No, that's what I read earlier was 62, but I'm looking. This must be a wrong stat. This must be wrong. I can't be right. 104 is ridiculous. All right, so Eagles break their single-season sack record. I am up, and I'm going to go my number 4. Kenny Gamewell will have more total yards than Miles Sanders. I think 1,000+ scrimmage yards is totally in the cards for Kenny Gamewell. As a rookie last year, 544 yards from scrimmage, 291 on the ground, 254 as a receiver. I see his touches going up this year with a more dynamic passing attack. I think Gamewell is a much better fit for Sirianni's offense. I see Gamewell by season's end, in that 8 to 12 touches on the ground, 5 to 10 targets in the air. There were 2 games last year where he had 15 or more touches. In those games, he had 87 yards per game. So you put that into like a 17-game season, that's nearly 1,500 yards. So I think an area for easy growth for Jalen Hurts. We keep harping about getting him more accurate downfield, exploiting that middle area of the field. Well, how about checkdowns? How about just taking the simple check down? Jalen Hurts had the lowest check down rate by a considerable margin in the NFL in 2021, 3.3%, just 19 total attempts. So I think Kenny Gamewell is a perfect addition for this Eagles offense this year. And I think we're going to see more and more and more for Gamewell as this season progresses. So I'm going more yards than Miles Sanders and over 1,000 total scrimmage yards for my guy, Kenny Gamewell. What about Brenden? Number 3 for you, Brenden. What's your number 3?
I was actually going to be my number 1. So you kind of took one from me. I'll just say it now. Might as well just attach it to it. My Kenny Gainwell actually leads the Eagles in rushing. That's what I put. I didn't just put yards in total. Okay. I actually think Kenny Gainwell's giving me the number 1 running back on this team this season. I'm getting a little skeptical that Miles Sanders even maybe lasts the entire 2022 season. I was taking a look at his contract when I was doing this exercise, getting ready for this podcast, and Eagles save about $1.4 million if they do trade him or cut him by the after June 1st. It's not a lot of money, but it's something. And look, he's going into a contract year. If you don't think you're going to re-sign him, why would you let him hit free agency? What if there's a team in training camp that their starting running back goes down? Like a team that needs one specifically, let's say John Taylor tears an ACL in training camp. Knock on wood, obviously don't want that to happen, but it's like kind of that scenario where something happens to a team that needs a running back in training camp or in the first 6 weeks. You can call the Eagles, and Miles Sanders is readily available. He's cheap. Teams can fit him under the cap. And again, he's a free agent, so you're not locked into him long term. So I don't know, the whole Miles Sanders contract situation to me just seems very odd heading into 2022. Howie Roseman doesn't really like kind of letting guys walk, or he doesn't like having guys kind of on the last year of their deals. So I just think that's something to keep in mind. And I think Kenny Gainwell is a guy I really liked coming in the draft last year. I thought he showed enough this in 2021 that he's going to be a good player in this league. So I think he's got a lot left to prove, especially in the run game too. Like, I don't think they used him a lot in the run game. He was more of a receiver. I think he takes some drastic step this year.
Love it. Should I put that as your number 3? Kenny Gainwell?
Yeah, it's number 3. Yeah, just put it there.
All right. Ryan R., you're up, man.
The Philadelphia Eagles will have 10 Pro Bowlers.
Oh my god. Okay.
10.
It's a lot.
It's
a lot of the team.
The record is 12, held by the Ravens. I looked it up. So I didn't want to go, like, in case, like, the record was, like, 10, maybe I would have said 8. But I said, screw it. I'm going 10. Yeah.
The only way that happens if, like, the Eagles finish at with what, like 12 wins, 13 wins? Like, they got to be.
The way I figured it is, I'm predicting 3 offensive linemen. If I'm right on my, Jalen Hurts prediction, he would be a Pro Bowler. Obviously, if I'm right on my Dallas Goddard, that should be a Pro Bowl. So that's 5 right there. One of Smith or Brown has got to be a Pro Bowler. That's 6. Slay probably a Pro Bowler. That's 7. Somebody on the offensive line's got to be there. That's 8. If Nakobe Dean's having 150 tackles, that's probably 9. And then whatever, one other person can randomly sneak in there for 10. Let's frickin' go.
10
Jake
Pro
Elliott.
They're first in the
Jake
NFL.
Elliott.
Exactly. Jake Elliott. No, you know what? Sippos. He comes out of nowhere and puts the crap out of the ball.
I love it. We gotta look up the record. I gotta know what the record is for Eagles Pro Bowlers.
Eagles, I couldn't find the one for actual Eagles. I know they've had 7 before, so that could be the record. But I know overall, as far as the NFL, the Ravens had 12.
Okay. Quinn says 8 Pro Bowlers. Sounds good, man.
What year was that?
Me too,
01?
Quinn.
01 Ravens or 2000 Ravens?
Gotta be, right?
Yeah.
What was that? It was.
That's a lot of Pro Bowlers.
That was a lot. Mike says if we get 10 Pro Bowlers, we better win this freaking Pro Bowl.
If they have 10 Pro Bowlers, they're first in the NFL record. 100%.
Yeah, easy.
It was actually 2019.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah, they had Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, Marshall Yanda, Mark Andrews, Pat Richard, Ronnie Stanley, Marcus Peters, Earl Thomas, Justin Tucker, Marlon Humphrey, Matthew Judon, and long snapper for the win, Morgan Cox.
There you go.
Can't forget about Morgan Cox.
What about you, Ryan F.? What's your number 3?
All right, so my bold prediction here is going to kind of be controversial, I guess, considering that a lot of people have Kenneth Gainwell doing very well this year. And I can see it. I definitely see it. But my prediction and my bold prediction is that if healthy, Miles Sanders is actually going to eclipse the 1,000-yard rushing mark. Not scrimmage yards, but rushing. And I honestly think that this guy has the talent, has the overall just the what am I looking for?
Set.
I'm looking for the word. It's skill set, but it's the intangibles. It's the
not
things
help.
that
Not help.
it's not help. But I'm saying if healthy, he can and will go 1,000 yards rushing. And I truly believe that. I mean, I've seen what he can do. I think we've all seen it, but it's up to that whole, hey, are you going to stay healthy? And are you going to hit the cuts? Are you going to move north and south instead of east and west? It's a lot of ifs, but that's why it's bold predictions, and that's why I think it's going to happen if he's healthy.
Love it. If he's healthy, if he can, get his head on right,
Would you guys Would you guys take a 5th round pick for Miles Sanders?
In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, Brenden. In a heartbeat. Yeah, that next contract. No, I'm out.
Yeah.
That's my take. My number 3. We're getting crazy here with my top 3, and why not? This is a bold prediction show. I don't normally get to go full homer with these shows, so I'm going all in. I am saying my number 3. The Eagles will have 3 receivers with 1,000 yards.
Wide receivers.
3. No, not just wide receivers.
There it is. Let me be the shade of the show and say, that's where he got his little cheat in. Receiver.
Well, let's talk about it. The Eagles face 10 of the NFL's bottom 20 teams in passing yards allowed from last season. You've got the Commanders, the Vikings, the Titans, the Texans, the Lions, and the Cowboys. You look at big plays through the air last year, passes that went for 40 or more yards. The Texans were allowed the 6th most with 12. The Titans allowed the 10th most with 11. And Washington and Detroit were 11th with 10. And then you look at passes 20 or more yards allowed from last season. The Cowboys were 5th most with 62. And the Vikings were 9th most with 56. So assuming that Jalen Hurts and the offensive line remain healthy and all the cards are on the table, that the offense starts from the jump out the gate. Jalen Hurts is playing with confidence, staying in that pocket, going through his progressions, seeing the field, hitting wide open receivers. I don't see why we can't have 1,000 receiving yards for Devontae, A.J. Brown, and Dallas Goddard. Let's get crazy. That is my number 3.
Nice.
All right.
I got to be honest. When I had thought about my Dallas Goddard one, I was like, do I just say all 3 of them? I was like, so I think about that, and right there, that's 3,000 passing yards for Hurts, right? And
like 4,500 if that's going to happen.
Right, exactly. And I'm like, how is Quez Watkins not going to get his? Because I truly believe Quez Watkins is going to have a decent year. And then even with passes to the running backs and to Pascal and, the 100 yards to Rager if he's still on the team, all that's going to eclipse another 1,000 at least. And, I don't know. I feel like one of them might just get under, but if that happens, my Lord.
Ruben says, man, I'm glad my face isn't streamed here because my bold predictions would be unpopular as hell. Quinn says, number 3, Scott will kill the Giants again in the game. That's not a bold prediction. That's not a bold prediction.
No, that's just what happens.
That's just science. Quinn says, I misspelled Jalen Reagor. All right, let's roll on to number 2, Brenden. What's your number 2?
Okay, my last 2 were kind of like training camp battles that I'm kind of looking forward to that I think are the most prevalent. So I'll start with the right guard position, and Jack Driscoll wins the right guard starting spot in training camp. I actually think I'll attach it and make it even bolder. I don't know if Isaac Seumalo is going to be on the roster starting week 1. I was taking a look at this. Is another one. Kind of take a look at contracts here. Eagles saved $7.4 million over the next 2 years combined if they cut or trade Isaac Seumalo after June 1st. So it's already after June 1st. So from now on, they just drafted Cam Jurgens, right? They just invested into the guard spot. Well, he's supposed to be, the center going up, but he's going to be able to play guard this year. Jack Driscoll was rated 20th by PFF out of all guards in the NFL. He was the best rated guard on the team as well, according to PFF. He's younger than Isaac Seumalo. They're both kind of coming off season-ending injuries. Well, Isaac, I don't even know if did he even play a snap last year, or was he hurt in training camp?
Early he played.
He went it was really early, right? But so both these guys are coming off injuries. I think it's probably about a 50-50 battle right now. I don't even know if the team knows who's going to be starting there at this point, right? This is probably the only starting spot that's open, maybe, and then safety I'm going to talk about in a bit, but. I think Jack Driscoll wins the spot, and Isaac Seumalo is a guy I'd watch out for a trade target or a potential cut, like just kind of go away kind of thing off the roster when training camp hits. Like they save a ton of money if he walks.
Little Brenden just shaking that crystal ball a little bit and saying Miles Sanders and Seumalo are out.
Potentially, right? Like I was cutting through the roster, like, because you know there's gonna be some shocks coming up before training camp, right? You know there's gonna what we all think is gonna happen isn't going to happen when it comes to just the starting roster spots. So I was trying to again shake the crystal ball there.
Michael has a question. Will Davion Taylor start? Not with this linebacker core. Any thoughts on that?
Maybe if we did 0 at the linebacking position this offseason, he might have a shot. Even then,
he might start a preseason game. I don't know. Let's go to Ryan R. What's your number 2?
All right, my number 2. The Philadelphia Eagles will sweep the division.
Oh my God!
Sweep!
All right, the
domination throughout the division. I like where the matchups are in the schedule. I think it sets them up pretty decently. I really like the 2 Commanders games and where they are. I feel like those are very winnable games. I really like that first Dallas game coming off of Arizona, which ultimately I think we end up losing in Arizona, but we come right back, get the win right before the bye. And yeah, the Giants are awful. So that's 2 wins. I just think good matchups, good timing, and a lot of the tougher of the matchups are a little bit later in the season when we're rocking and rolling. So sweep all day.
All right. Ryan goes with an Eagles sweep in the NFCs. Can anybody look up when the last time the Eagles swept the NFC?
I think it was like 2002 or something. It's been a while.
It's got to be the Andy Reid. Because there was several years where the NFC was terrible and the Eagles were on top again and again and again. Maybe it was back then. But it seems like it doesn't even matter. They're always a close games.
Did the Cowboys sweep the division last year? I think they did, right?
Did they?
I could be wrong. Is that could be wrong. I know.
The games against us, the last game against us was easy. So
yeah.
All right.
It's not crazy. That's actually not crazy at all. That you could argue the Commanders, Cowboys, and Giants. Those are 3 of the easier teams they play, right?
Wow. The Cowboys did sweep the division last year. Yeah. I totally forgot about that. That's nuts. Real comments real quick. Bold prediction. Hurts has 35 total touchdowns passing and throwing. A.J. Brown will have 15 touchdowns.
Passing and throwing?
That's a good amount.
Well, that would be the record. 14 by T.O. is current receiving record. So
2004, I don't know if anybody said that, but 2004 is the last sweep that happened at the hands of the Eagles.
Too, so that's pretty close.
Pretty close. Marina says Sam Muller will start. It's not even close. I think it's a lot closer than you think. I agree with Brenden. I think it's
I think it's probably trending in Jack's favor at this point. Honestly,
definitely one of the top position battles in training camp.
I think that's a big one to watch.
It's a fun one to watch, but I don't think it's a lock. Like I definitely don't think that's a lock.
No.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Josh Sweat? One of Brendan's bold predictions was Josh Sweat with 11, 12, 10, 11 sacks on the season.
One of my favorite players on the team right there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, can you tell your dad joke?
I don't remember. I what? Which one?
I believe it was who it was something on the Eagles, like who the smelliest eagle is or something.
I don't remember. I honestly don't.
Yeah, it was like it's just
what's the
He doesn't remember the punchline or the joke. This is a waste of time.
I know the punchline.
Who's the Philadelphia Eagle that requires the most deodorant?
There you go. That is. Yeah. Who needs the most deodorant? Josh Sweat.
All right, Chris says Jordan Davis and Kobe Dean will combine for 12 sacks. And number 2, Barnett will have more sacks than penalties. That is bold.
I keep forgetting he's back on the roster.
Yeah, me too.
Sadly.
All right, let's keep it rolling. Ryan F., what is your number 2?
Well, unfortunately, it's very similar to the other Ryan's prediction. I was going to say that the Eagles win the NFC East by 2 games. As we get towards the top, I thought I'd get more realistic. But should I get more bold?
Get more bold.
Then I will say that the Eagles will win the NFC East by 3 games. No, I'm not going 4. Honestly, I can agree with Reese in the fact that, like, I love seeing the matchup with the Commanders, and honestly, like, we're just going to be in Carson Wentz's head all day, every day. I don't see the Cowboys, who, like, literally fell off, being much of a problem. And then, Giants are the Giants. So there's always that, like, one, like, awkward game with the Giants where it looks like we're going to lose, but we end up winning. But, I think that we'll win the division by 3 games. That'll be my bold prediction.
All right, my number 2, and I'm just going to piggyback off of what Ryan F. said with his number 4. I'm going to say the Eagles' defensive line will be considered better than the Eagles' offensive line by the end of the season.
Oh, wow.
You look at least on paper, the Eagles' pass rush is so much better. Reddick, Dean, Davis, Kaiser White, all those additions are going to make life so much easier for Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave. The Eagles had the 11th best pressure rate, and they converted pressures into sacks at the league's 2nd lowest rate last season. And I think the biggest reason why I'm going in this way is because of the Eagles are so much better in coverage. You've got Bradbury, you've got Darius Slay, you've got Avonte Maddox in the slot. Yeah, the safeties suck, but I think with better coverage downfield, that coverage is not going to be a liability. And I think because of that, the Eagles sack numbers will go up dramatically this coming season. So I'm going with the Eagles D-line will be better than the O-line by season's end.
I love that. And I couldn't agree with you more on the reasoning. The simple fact of the matter is our linebackers have been absolute dog shit for the past God knows how long. I can't even remember last time we had, decent linebacking play. And we absolutely nailed it this offseason. And I've always been a proponent of, if you have competent to, above average linebackers, it affects behind them for what the defensive backs can do. It affects in front of them what the defensive line can do. If you have these linebackers, the defensive line will absolutely be able to wreak havoc. And like you said, they get to the quarterback. They just got to finish. And now they're going to have that extra split second to get to the quarterback to finish because they have linebackers that are doing their jobs. So I couldn't agree more, and I absolutely 1,000% am on board with this.
Awesome, man. All right, Brenden, what is your number 1?
Okay, this one's probably not going to happen. I just kind of want this to happen because this is a player that I don't really want to see play on the Eagles this year. Anthony Harris doesn't make the roster. Now, hear me out on this one. Now, hear me out on this one, okay? They only gave him a 1-year contract for about $2.5 million. They can still save approximately, I think it's about $600K if they do cut him. They're going to have to eat some dough. I thought he was the worst player on the defense last year. I don't really know. I'm not saying I don't think it was close, but look, they just signed to Whiskey Tart, Marcus Epps. Let's say Kayvon Wallace takes a jump in training camp. I don't know. I just Anthony Harris is going to be 31 years old now when it hits October. I don't think it's a lock that he's going to start. He's probably going to make the team. I think it's probably closer to like the 99% chance he's going to make the team. But I don't think he's going to start, and I really don't want him to start. So that was going to be my boldest one of the show.
Who's replacing Anthony Harris?
Well, you have Whiskey Tart, Marcus Epps, and Kayvon Wallace. And I don't think they take more than 3 safeties. So I think there's going to be an odd man out somewhere.
Okay.
So,
wow.
Like I think you're gonna have like a rotational, like maybe some cornerbacks can play up at the top. Like I don't think they take 4 safeties. I don't think there's enough spot or places on the roster for that to happen. So yeah, I just haven't been an Anthony Harris fan since they signed him. Wasn't a fan when they brought him back. So and I think it's gonna be a Jaquiski Tart Marcus Epps starting safety duo is a lot more appealing than Anthony Harris playing.
Wow.
The Derek Barnett resigning for the Eagles was like, oh. And then Anthony Harris coming back was like, it was like just like a tear, like not as bad, but it was like right there. That's really interesting. That is a really interesting number one. What about you, Reinhard? What's your number one?
So I've been thinking about this, and when I was making kind of my list, I wanted to kind of get a good mixture of like players and stuff. So I actually had, I think I ended up writing down like 8, just in case, like obviously anybody who knows me knows I love linebackers. So I obviously had something about Nakobe Dean, but it seems to be a theme with a few people already. So
I think I even put him on the thumbnail. Like he's literally on the thumbnail.
Right. Believe me, I could not be happier the fact that we have somebody like Nakobe Dean on this team, who I have been preaching for linebackers for probably my entire life. Even when we had Trotter and others, I still wanted more. I was greedy, but so I decided not to say that, and I went with what I think might be my boldest of predictions. The Philadelphia Eagles will make it to the NFC Championship game.
I love it.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, what?
I'm messing with you.
I think their schedule allows them to have a decent record and to win the division, which again will help them in the playoffs. I have kind of thought about some of the other teams that are going to be in the playoffs. I think they could get a favorable matchup in the first round. Obviously, have to kind of beat a decent team in the second, but I just think this could be one of those years where the timing and the schedule and who we're playing and when we're playing them, and considering how much we have improved this roster, I think it could be one of those seasons where things just kind of work out and we end up making it to the championship game.
If the Eagles make it to the NFC Championship game, and having all those first-round picks, man, a lot has gone right for the Eagles, man. It's going to be exciting times. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Again, I despise going after Reese and having to kind of echo. What
Am I ruining your picture? Is it like drafting behind something in fantasy and taking all your players?
Because you didn't specify like I'm going to. I'm going to go with a bold prediction and say that the Eagles are going to go 14-3 this year.
Oh my God.
Wow.
You laugh. But
friggin' bold.
Number one, man. Bold predictions. You told me not to go realistic. You told me to go for
That is true.
So I changed it up and went more bold. So considering, I think a couple of us said we would sweep the division. You have the Texans. You have the Steelers. You have the Lions. You have the Browns. You have the Dolphins. You have the Vikings, Jaguars. I mean, like a lot of these teams are beatable and not really as scary as a lot of people think. And I mean, you're talking about a 17-game season in which we have a pretty nice break in between for our bye week. I honestly think that this schedule allows us to roll in certain ways. I mean, again, like I'll keep my Green Bay loss because I'm just really on it, and I don't know. I can't really see who else is better than the Eagles.
I mean, you're right. Think about even the Packers. They just lost their best player in Devontae Adams.
No, their best players, Aaron Rodgers. But
no, it's not. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It was Devontae Adams.
All right.
Who got Devontae Adams?
You're foolish. You're foolish. You're foolish.
How am I foolish? That's the best quarterback in the league.
No, he's not.
Mm,
If he was the best quarterback in the league, he might have won more than one Super Bowl, right?
All right, for the sake of time, let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, for the sake of time.
We have a Cowboys fan in the house saying, "I love weed." That's fine, because that is my number one. My number one bold prediction is Jalen Hurts will have more total yards, passing and on the ground, than Dak Prescott in 2022.
Ooh,
that is my number one. Hurts had 667 less total yards than Prescott last year. He averaged 69 total yards per game less than Dak. But Jalen Hurts also played one less game. You think of one more game from Hurts with his weekly average last year, that puts him up to over 4,100 yards. That means he's only 458 yards away from Dak's numbers last year. We all know how much the Eagles' offense has improved. And I think if Jalen Hurts takes that next step as planned and the Cowboys' offense struggles a little bit more in 2022 as we plan, I don't think this scenario is that crazy. I think Jalen Hurts could be in that same tier in total yards. I mean, total yards. And that is my number one. Brenden, do we have time to go through some comments real quick and then we'll wrap it up?
Yeah, I got a couple minutes left.
All right, real quick. Not a fan of Zach Pascal. Any thoughts on Zach Pascal?
I like Zach. I think he'd actually be a contributor.
Yeah, he's going to get a couple catches.
Receiver's going to get hurt at some point, right? So he's going to be on the field.
Good depth. Brandon Graham will have more sacks than Jordan Davis and Josh Sweat combined. Wow. I love that. I love that.
Not happening.
I think any contribution you get from Brandon Graham is just a bonus at this point. Like it's hard to picture him being such a big contributor. And this is quite the comment.
This is bold.
And
bold.
This is as bold as it gets. Eagles go undefeated. Jalen Hurts has an even better season in 2022. Of course, he'll get the Eagles in first place and wins the Super Bowl. Oh my God.
Wow.
I love it. Stronger Minshew will be the starting quarterback by week 10. I love it, man. It's all fun. It's all fun.
That was actually going to be one of mine.
Was it? I love it. Yeah, everyone went positive, which is fun. Quinn says number one Eagles beat KC in the Super Bowl.
Is Quentin a professional comedian?
I know he's pretty good.
Like he's been coming with the jokes tonight.
Yeah. All right, Brenden, where can we find you, man? Thank you so much for joining. Plug time, man. Floor's yours.
Yeah, follow me at Brenden Deeg NFP on Twitter. Check out the Double Doink podcast. I had Adam Schefter on yesterday, which was pretty darn cool.
Wow.
Um,
But his audio was a little wonky towards the end, so I'm still a little frustrated about that. But great episode, about 30 minutes long, kind of talking about Schefter's career, how he got to where he is today. A lot of cool interviews coming up over the next couple weeks before I kind of take a couple week break. So yeah, follow me on Twitter. Check out my podcast.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, the Double Doink podcast, man. You have amazing, amazing interviews all the time. You guys got to check that out. Share the love. Please be sure, go and subscribe. I'll put the link down in the description below. All right. Ryan Reese, plugs real quick.
Make sure you go out and follow the Philly Sports Alliance, all the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, at Philly Sports PSA. I believe it's right here. We got shows pretty much every day of the week. Mondays is my show, Football Smack Talk show. Right before this, me and Ryan up here, we do the Philly broadcast. Then we pop on over here, so that's why we're running a little behind. But yeah, we got shows all week. So check us out, and of course, on our Facebook page, we can check out all the painted line stuff. So we're loving doing that, and obviously all of our stuff go on your YouTube. So it's been a blast. I love talking to the TPL fans out there. They usually come out with the greatest comments and good back and forth. So just check us out. We're doing our thing.
I love weed. By the way, we are never like this on a show ever. This has been a ride. What about you, Ryan F? Thanks for subscribing. Ryan F, any plugs you want to do here?
Just follow PSA, Philly Sports Alliance. Thank you to Paint the Lines, and just listen to Brenden and Deebs. These guys know what they're talking about. Ryan Reese does not, so I mean,
yeah, as you can tell, we were about to get into it again.
Yeah.
We do it.
it's the best. It's the best. He obviously doesn't know who the best quarterback in the league is. So, all right, have a good night.
Yeah. All right, Miss Marvel tomorrow night review at 7:00. Don't want to miss that. And then we'll be doing a Sixers free agency show tomorrow night as well to get ready for all the things that are happening. My man Brenden Deeg over there, one of the best Eagles follows there is. Period. The Double Doink Podcast, National Football Post. Check out all of his work. For Ryan's, for Deeg, for myself. Stay awesome.